What's going on, everyone? It's time to finish up the R2D2 build. So, like I said in the last video, first thing I got to do is reattach our USB door mechanism here with the sync button. And first thing I got to do, well, I already tried putting it on with hot glue, but I guess the tension of that spring, it just didn't want to hold. And maybe it just didn't like this surface that much because it stayed on here, but it popped right off of here. So we're going to use regular super glue to attach this permanently. Now, part of the issue here, somewhere between moving all this stuff from downstairs to up here to work on it, I apparently have lost the little spring that goes here. So I'm going to go ahead and dig through my extra face plates and just pull one off of one of those, and then we can put this on. So we're going to put the regular, this is the one that came on here, but we're going to put the ghost case USB door and eject button on there to match the clear bezel up here. So it'll be all white, clear bezel, and then clear down here. And then last thing we got to do when we put this together is slide this strip inside the faceplate as we put it together. It'll be kind of tricky, not the best for taking this system back apart and putting it together, but yeah. There's no sticky on this. It's actually a magnetic strip, so it'll just kind of be laying in there. And then when you take it out, I mean, like I said, it's not going to be attached to anything, so this will just pop out with it, and then you can set it off to the side or let it dangle down here and still take the rest of the system apart just fine. So let's go ahead and find another spring and get this attached so we can finish putting it together. Alright, so I have a slim here. That one's got one on there, but don't want to have to take all that apart. I know I've got other face plates. So here we've got, this one was off of the copper edition slim that I did, the water cooled one, and it's kind of all beat to shit already, so we'll just pop this one off and use the spring from that one. Have another one here, but this one's all factory, got everything on it, so we'll just save that one for later. This one's in rough shape, so let's pop this one off. Alright, so that one popped right off. Actually a lot easier than I expected, and lost the other spring, but, well, not the spring I needed, the one that is for the door. Anyway, so we now have that on here. Alright, so the next step, we've got this door in place. You have to set this in with this spring and hold all that down while putting this over it without losing the eject button, like that. Almost lost that spring. And then hold all of that in place while gluing it in. You can see originally all those little pins there and the little holes. That was just plastic welded on there. So I'm still going to use a tiny bit of hot glue just because this dries a lot faster than the super glue. That's going to help me hold it in place. I'll just put it in a couple spots, and then we're going to actually super glue it all the way around and make sure it fully dries before putting it together. Alright, got the doors in place, or the door and the eject button. There you go. Still don't want to put too much pressure on it, let that super glue completely cure, but it seems to be in place just fine. So now I'm figuring out how to feed this LED strip down the center. As you can see, we have room on this side. However, it'll kind of have to snake down and then go underneath this part of it. So I need to figure that out, and then whatever extras left over here, it can just kind of be tucked back into the faceplate, or, you know, just tucked in underneath the vent, which is fine. So, because this is not one that is meant to be trimmed to size. That sucks. And it's still good. So I guess the glue is dry enough. That was a good test. So anyway, let's tuck that in, and then I can finally get the other side panel on. Then I can really see what it looks like with this strip on the front. My hope is that I can get it facing mostly this way and see how this sits on this side panel here, to kind of have it, you know, right behind here and facing this way. That way it'll hopefully illuminate the entire back. And really all you need is LEDs, you know, kind of touching this edge, and it'll kind of illuminate most of the plastic panel anyway, just because of how the light's gonna travel through it. So hopefully we get this figured out. I will, of course. Alright, at least got it together enough to test this out real quick. I did also find the bottom clear trim piece like the top here, so I don't have to try and figure out what to paint this chrome one or anything. So that will be included in this build. I'm going to try to still clean this up. If I can't, maybe I can touch this up a little bit. This case is not perfect by any means. Unfortunately, a lot of systems this old, even the special edition ones, you're going to get some like yellowing and just marks and little cracks and stuff. There was one like right here. There's not too much I can do about that. That didn't happen for me cutting the window. That was just already there. And just getting around the edges here will clean it up and all that stuff. Anyway, let's test this out real quick. Alright, definitely illuminating the USB door. Not doing too much here, and I think part of that is because there's like a wall of plastic all the way around this bezel. You can see here, so it's kind of blocking the light. So I guess when I pop this back off, I can try to trim away some of that wall, and that'll allow a lot more of that light to fill this up. I think that'll look really good. Happy with all the lights on the front. All this is lighting up really well. I really like that. You can see this window is a lot more blue than the others. These are a little more purple and light blue, and that's because it's illuminating off of that clear blue hard drive case inside there. It's really nice. Let's see if it did anything for the back. Okay, so a little bit. It's kind of got that effect I was looking for, where it just looks like it's glowing from underneath. It's a little messy down here. So I'm just going to have to figure out what I can do. If this LED strip was about that much shorter, I think it would be the perfect length for here without having to kind of bend it around. But I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Shut this off. And again, even with all these lights over here, you can definitely see it glowing. That was only on for a little bit. And in an even darker room, it really glows really bright, so that's pretty cool. So let's keep adjusting this, and then I also did not put in these top plates, which I guess aren't completely necessary. However, there are some spots that allow these vents and this trim piece to click in more securely. So I will be putting these back in, but obviously these are an awful copper that's all worn away. So we're just going to repaint those, either probably just white. Maybe if I have a blue or something, we can do that. You won't really see it much, but like up here from this angle, you'll definitely be able to see if it's like a blue color, or I would do glow in the dark, but there's not enough lighting in there to really show that off. So let's get these ready to paint. I'm going to clean these up. That way, while this is drying, I can clean up the rest of the system and adjust that LED strip up front a little bit better. Alright, so time to put it back together again. Projector turned on. I went ahead and cut away that little bit of that wall there. Doesn't really want to focus, but yeah, you can see on the inside. That's going to allow some of that light from that LED strip to shine through a lot better to make this glow. Also had to adjust one of the LEDs that was right underneath here so that this would sit down a little bit better. And then I painted the top and bottom pieces. I went ahead and just painted them red. So those are going to be drying for a while. I can still put the rest of this together. While those are drying, I went with red because we got this little bit here. This lights up red. I figured, one, it really doesn't matter what color I paint them. You won't really see them, but from certain angles, you'll be able to catch it through these vents here. So, yeah, I went with red. Anyway, time to, I'm going to actually start to probably put a couple drops of hot glue for this wire to hold it in place. It's gonna help me while I put this in and put that back on the system at the same time. Kind of tricky, but we'll get it together and see what it looks like. Alright guys, finally back together, except the very top here. I just need to trim a tiny bit of this end off of here because that's where the LED is, and I can't move it because there's a peg right there, so that's as low as it can go. But I'm just going to trim a little bit of that off, and then we can put that top one on. The bottom one's already on there and good. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Boom. That is fantastic. It even illuminates the clear bezel here, a little bit of a clear bottom bezel. This is a little bit illuminated, not as much as I'd like, but still looks good. This worked out fantastic, cutting a little bit of that away. So now that glows really nicely. Back still looks good. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take care of this and put that together, and it'll be kind of the final reveal video, and then this should be up for sale relatively soon. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.